Of course, the audience is invited at any point to ask questions. It is also possible to ask questions in German, and I translate if you feel better asking in German. But if there aren't questions right now... okay, there's already the first question. Great. We will try without a microphone. I hope it's okay. If you can talk a little bit louder, or maybe I can repeat the question.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Maybe I can just raise my questions in English.
Of course.
Thank you very much. Of course, this is really nice movie for me, and I was really touched by the movie.
Thank you.
And I mean, I have two questions. First one is, as the director, you come from France. How did you find about this topic, and how did you find this brew? This is my interesting because it's like different culture, different language, but you just find exactly quite interesting relationship in China, I see. The second question is about, you mentioned that the film took 6 years, and you also mentioned that it's also at the end, this is the Corona time. I would really like to know what kind of problem you had while you're still filming in China.
Thank you so much for your questions and that you like the movie. Yes. The film is beginning with the encounter, the meeting, encounter with actually the father was the first. We came with Victoire in 2017. We were still at school at this time, and the school was organizing an exchange, a school exchange with the academy, Beijing Academy. And so we had 1 month and a half to shoot a topic, and we had to come back with some materials. So during 3 weeks, we made a lot of scouting in Beijing. We wanted at first to talk about, to make a portrait of a young child and to talk about education, but that was super large, like as a topic. And most of all, we didn't know anything about China. So we came with that kind of topic, but we really, for 3 weeks, we were going everywhere in every school to try to enter, to meet parents and children. And at one point, someone told us about the conservatory of Beijing, and we came there, and it began with kind of intuition, because we felt something about this place. We first met parents and children, but it was quite difficult because they were super busy, because they had a lot of works. So we couldn't manage to really meet parents or most of all the children. And Guangdong, the father, came on the third day to us, and he told us, he went to us and he told us, I'm seeing that you're searching this kind of situation. Okay, I have my son that is studying in the conservatory, and I'm sleeping in the basement. Here's the situation. And at this moment, it was like a kind of big encounter, like an event for us, because he had something very special when he talked about to us. And after we met him and we talked about more than 3 hours, and we discovered a bit of his story and the situation, the mother that was living like in the other side of Beijing, but they couldn't see each other because they were working each other. And yes, so that was the point of the beginning of that story. And to manage, because it's, yes, of course, different culture, not the same language. So that was the big challenge of the movie. But for us, it was an incredible adventure, because when you don't know the culture and you don't know the language, you are coming in the country with a very big, open-minded state, like quite that never happened to you, actually, because you want so much to understand, and we were very afraid with Victoire to be with the point of view of European. So of course we will have a point of view of European, but to be careful to not have like any judgment or something. So we wanted to understand, and so it was a very long time to really observe and to talk a lot with the characters. Yes, and when you don't speak the language, it also requires some listening about the rhythm, about what is the body is talking about, you know. And most of the time we didn't understand what they were saying when, yes, they were, you know, they were talking, and we understood after. But with the camera, we were so focused of when would happen something with the music of how they're talking and the emotion or not. And so that was an amazing experience for this. And the second question was about
the challenges, also because of the pandemic, I think.
Yes. So at the beginning, we thought, because we did first a short movie, and we decided to make a feature one because we wanted to tell about after the separation. And so we thought it would be like 2 years to do this movie. Like 2 years, we have already the characters, we know what is happening, so it's gonna be okay. But yes, 2 years after, we were ready to go there, scouting, and this moment was the pandemic. And so that was quite difficult because it was super slow for us, 3 years without to go in China. So we talked a lot with the characters by phone. We gave them a camera for them to pick some pictures. They are not in the movie, but we tried for them to have a link with them, actually. And but so it was very difficult, and it was also difficult, I mean, with the production, because we had to go at the first moment it opened, we went, and it was going super fast, and we went for 2 months and a half, and it was like a context quite intense. But at the end, I think it was a good thing for the movie. Always, when you have an obstacle, it like sometimes it's good. And in this case, it was very good because the maturity of the film, you know, the story, it happened so many things in 6 years. And even the path of Guangdong wouldn't be the same, you know, what we saw in the end, if we had filmed it like just 2 years. It was 6 years to talk about all this movement. So yes.
Yeah. There's a microphone coming now.
Thank you very much. I was actually wondering, how did you manage to shoot the film, especially in the second part after 22, without bringing the family into trouble? Because usually when you, as a foreigner, try to work as a journalist and you come with a camera in China, you always get in trouble with the authorities. And you bring your partners into trouble usually. So how did you manage this sensitive situation?
Yes, we had all the time this in our head when we were filming. But actually, our film was not really, you know, saying things that could put our characters in trouble. They know perfectly also, you know, we wanted to talk about their life, what they feel, their big desire. And of course there is a context, but they are not talking about the context so much. And so we were discussing with them if we had to about this, of course. But we were quite surprised because when we came, we were afraid that we couldn't film very easily and it would be quite difficult. We didn't have really the authorizations. So, but we were a very small team. We were 4 people with 2 Chinese people, 2 French people. And actually I have the impression that they are quite used to see cameras. And we didn't had a big camera. We had like it could be a photograph, you know, and so people were not so surprised actually when we were, and we could film in the street. It's more like when it's institution that it's they don't like see it so much, but it was really, yes, always in dialogue with the character to be sure it's okay, and it's part of the link of the confidence. Yes.
That was also something I found very impressive, the closeness and also the trust you had with your protagonists. Maybe you can tell a little bit. You already explained that Guangdong was from the very beginning because he approached you and he wanted you making a film about him or his family, but also there are very intimate situations when he's with his wife in this tent and everything. And were they open from the very beginning? Were there any, I don't know, obstacles? And for example, also to film when they are in the tent and in very close situations, maybe.
Yes. I might say that Guangdong had something special from the beginning about expression. I mean, he wanted to say something. So that was the first of all. It wanted to say something. He was very angry because his house had been destroyed by the government, and he didn't had enough anymore like house. So he was quite angry, and he needed to talk. But the link of confidence, really, we built it weeks after weeks and months and years after years. And but we were quite surprised because Guangdong, he really understood quite quick what we were searching. We were searching some kind of deepness of like feelings, what he was going through, and he understood it. And he was not afraid. He was, but it happened a long time before. Of course, we had, for example, this conversation in that tent 6 years again. But it's all about confidence, I think. Yes, and we were all the time with them. When we were in China with them for 2.5 months, we were like all the time seeing them, talking with them a lot, even without filming sometimes, just to understand what is. And I'm talking about Guangdong, but also Baoyan, the mother, and the son. The three of them had, for example, have a quite natural link with the camera. And they were okay, I think, because we really built this confidence link. I think for Zhao Hong, that he's younger, was a bit annoying for him at the beginning because he had those two girls, with the camera. So I think a part of him was a bit annoyed by this, but another part was happy because sometime, for example, one day, but when he met the girl you see in the film, he was quite shy. And we were super surprised because he said to us, "Can you come with me?" And said, "Yes." and he was. We felt him very relieved because the camera and us was like a bit witness, like somewhere to support. So we were surprised, and it's great when it's like this. And yes, but it's confidence. Yes.
A question regarding the editing, because you said that you were shooting more or less okay with a break, but like 6 years, you must have had a lot of material. And nevertheless, I also like the concept that in this film, everything is told by the pictures itself. There's not like a meta level that explains something, and there are no interviews and no explanations, no commentary. So maybe you can tell a bit what has been left out, or was that the concept from the very beginning?
Yes. But it changed a lot, the film. Like in the beginning, what we were projecting, and during the shoot and during the editing, it was completely different. Not completely, but it took its shape little by little. Yes, the choice of not making any interviews was really a choice from the early beginning, because we didn't want to enter really in the intimate and most of all the daily life. We didn't want to interfere. We didn't want to have a context explained, and we wanted to feel it by the pictures. For example, after the short movie, we realized with Victoire that we were filming a state of waiting at Guangdong, that is waiting at the how you say the door of the conservatory. And so this lead a bit how we filmed, how we edited. It was the waiting, how it's what it's in his mind, what it's in the mind of the mother and the son also. So, but yes, and a lot of choices in the editing, of course. For example, when we shot, we had a lot of conversation from the protagonist, from the mother and the father, and they were talking with a beautiful way of very deep things, and we were super emotional with Victoire when we were filming it. We was like, but it's great how they are talking so well from what they feel about as parents, about death, about getting old, everything like this, about how they feel in the daily life. So it was like, oh, it's going to be in the movie. It will be a very talkative movie at the end. And no, when we were at the editing, we realized that everything they were saying, yes, it was beautiful, but they were saying exactly what was saying the picture already. And so it wasn't working at all. It was explaining all the time. So at the end, we cut so much of conversations, but it was right for us to do it. And another thing we chose because when we were editing, we learned that Guangdong came in Estonia. He managed to do it. Yes, that's also the answer to the film. So we learned this, and we decided to go to shoot him when he was in Estonia, because he would see his son again. And so it was like, oh, it's going to be amazing in the film. So we shot it, and it was a beautiful moment because they talked a lot together and many things happened. But when we came back and we tried to put that moment in the editing, it didn't work at all, because it was not the time of the movie. When we shot the movie, he was still in process, and to go further with many months was not right. It was like to tell it's a successful story, but it was not the point. So yes, that was the two main choices, for example.
But I think really also the talking between the parents, it's really because they have on one side they are talking in a very humorous way sometimes, yes. Like playful, what I really liked, and on the other hand they sometimes really say like philosophic things. Yeah. I think like the thing with the clumsy birds and the most difficult is the decision to go away and not the going away itself. And how did you sometimes did it have an impact, you filming, and maybe you also triggered a little bit some topics, or I don't know, for example, also the English class. I love the details in the film, and the English class of the son, that they were talking about family and relationships, and it is so much symbolic for this film, I think. That was just occasionally, or?
It depends. Well, Guangdong is talking like this, one very philosophically way. He loves to be with metaphor. He's always, he loves to talk like this. It's his way to talk. And I think he was feeling free to talk with us like this. And he was very happy to express himself, because he doesn't have really the occasion to express like this, to have listeners. So he's like this, and he's with an analyze, quite mature for a lot of things. And the other thing, what you were telling?
If you triggered some things or just, I don't know, how to initiate something or gave ideas, for example, the thing that they have the topic family in the English lessons or something like that.
Yeah, well, sometime, for example, for the tent, you saw, sometime we were saying to Guangdong, you could call your son at this moment and maybe you could talk about going, not even this, I think we didn't say, just like maybe you can call your son, maybe you can talk about what is your feeling to have him far. But, you know, they would never say like what they would feel about him far. So he was doing it in his way. And we shot 3 times the tent because the first one was nothing was happening. The second time nothing was happening, even if they called their son. The third time happened this, but we didn't plan at all. They were talking like this at all. Yes, there is very few moments that they could. Maybe we could have some time, like you can talk about your desire to go away with Baoyan, but that's all. Yes, and in the English class we talked about with the teacher. Yes, about topics that she could talk about. But I don't think we talk about family. We talk about if maybe you can ask, I don't know, yes, maybe when you are far away from home and something like this. And she made up that family topic that was in the program. Maybe she did it for us.
Wow, good teacher.
Yes. She was super nice.
As I said, you won an award for the original music. Didn't it come up as an idea to use music from the son? Or I mean, of course, there's music when he's sending his recordings, but for the film music and from his orchestra, for example.
Yes, we thought about it, but the music have been made after the shoot, and the composer made the music, and we asked him directly to make. We wanted like cor, like French horn, and cello. And at this time we thought about Zhao Hong playing it, but he couldn't yet to play without no problem at this moment. So we asked to someone, and also we didn't have enough money to go in Estonia, so that was also for this. But it was important, of course, for us to show him playing in the film. Yes.
Have the protagonists already seen the film? I guess so. But have the protagonists already seen the film, and how were their reactions?
Yes, so Guangdong and his son saw the movie because they were in Estonia. We were able to invite him in Paris, so for the premiere in Paris. And Baoyan, we couldn't have her with her because she couldn't get a visa to come. She was still in China. So, but the father and the son saw the movie, and it was a beautiful moment because we warned them before. We were a bit afraid how they would react, not because we didn't trust about our point of view, but it's a lot of emotional things, so we never know how they can react. And but they were very curious, the both of them. They wanted to. They told us, actually, I want to see a story. I know it's ours, it's us, but I don't know. I don't want to think about that it's us. I just want to see a story. So they saw the movie, and we were super stressed with Victoire because we were next to them. And the son, Zhao Hong, when he saw the scene with the girl, he told me, "Lou, what are you going to say about this girl?" And he was afraid that I would tell about like a love story, but of course no, it was not the point. So he was relieved, and at the end it was super beautiful because the father get up on stage with us. and he said, all you saw is true. And for us, it was beautiful, because it was all the meaning of making that movie. You know, it's if you are sure that the people are, you know, respected, and we had a responsibility for this. So for us was really a big thing when he told this, and he didn't really talk a lot about how he felt, but he told us that he was very touched, and he said this sentence. And the son, he saw it 3 times in Paris, in Estonia, and he said to us at one point, after the 3 times, he said, you know, the first time I saw the movie, and I was seeing a story with people, and I was appreciated the story a lot. And the second time he told us, I was analyzed the subtitles to see if it was right with the Chinese, and he told us that was some mistakes. And yes, some mistake, not big, but. And the third time he told us, actually now I really focus on the faces of my parents, the expressions, and he said I'm touched because now I know them better than before. And I didn't know they were like this when they stop the phone, for example, how they feel, how much they talk about him, how they feel as a man and woman. And so, yes, they said that.
And Guangdong, did he learn an English sentence every day before he got to Estonia, as promised?
Well, not really. But he managed to go. Well, he learned some words, but not maybe not a sentence per day. But we were amazed with Victoire, because he managed alone to go in Estonia for 1 year, almost 1 year and a half, and he worked in the restaurant. He organized himself alone with some help sometime from a translator there, but it was difficult for him that he doesn't know the language, but he managed alone. He went back to China because he wanted to join, of course, Baoyan, but they want to go back in abroad.
Great story. So, is there any new version? Not new version. Success. I don't know the word. Fortsetzung. A sequel. Is there a sequel planned on how the life of the family is going on, or are you still in contact with them?
Yes, of course, we are in contact with them, and we are writing each other quite oftenly. And Zhao Hong we are talking a lot on Instagram. But we are very happy for Zhao Hong, because he was in the orchestra of Estonia working and studying in the same time. Now he get back to China, but he wants to go to Berlin. But he's doing well, very well, actually. And the parents, we love that, because when Guangdong came back, they are travelers. They love to travel. They love to move. They love to feel free. And so when he came back, they managed to take 1 month together, and they traveled a lot. So yes.
Great. Are there any more questions from the audience? Otherwise, I have a last question. So, is there already another project in planning, or together with Victoire, or you alone, or you can talk a little bit?
Yes. I have a project alone. That it's a fiction this time, and it's the story of a teenager of 16 or 17. And she struggled with her weight, and she's living in an island with a lot of storms, and she has this gift that she can see the storms coming before people, and she's struggling between her inside part where she had a lot of desire of life, of everything, and she has a very big link with her island, but she's very lonely, and in the same time with her life in the high school, where she has a big character, she's, acting a bit, but she doesn't allow herself to desire. So it's about this story, about her encounter with a young guy and the possibility of the desire for her, and about her path with her body and something that it begins to become freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And where is it? In which country?
It's in a imagination island, but it will be shot in La Réunion.
Okay.
In the island, and the name of the film is Maya.
Maya. Okay, so it's already in a progressed state.
Yes. We began the casting, and we get in the financial part now, production part. Mm-hmm.
As far as I understood, it is you're interested in documentary, but also in fiction. I think I saw in one of your biographies, and maybe you can also tell a little bit how you do the work before shooting and during the shooting, because I think the preparatory work is always to find real characters, but then also you take your freedom, like in a fiction film, to for the setting, for the scenario, and for aesthetic aspects.
Yes.
You can tell a bit about this.
Well, I think that the two are mixing in a way in the process, documentary and fiction, when I work. For example, in what you saw, it's real character, real situation, real story, but we are filming it in the there is no word, it's no documentary, it's no fiction, it's just filming in the best way we think to tell the story. But it's true that, for example, for the fiction, I'm making a documentary preparation before. For example, I went to meet a lot of girls with problems with their weight, fishermen, because she's the daughter of a fisherman. People who leave the big storm in La Réunion, and I'm talking with those people. So I'm always actually making this kind of preparation before, and it's very important for me to, so that it can be part of this, and also for the actors, for example. I can't imagine it without people that are real, in a way that they are not actors. I want like a mix. So it's always mixing.
I think this is also something you can see in the WATCHMAN, because for me it was like it has like also not feature film aspects, but a little bit like fiction, because of the pictures and the impressiveness of the pictures itself. I think so. That's what I really liked about the film. And if you like the film, as I said, it is nominated for our Audience Award, so you can vote for it and give a good ranking. I guess that 5 is the highest, but I'm not really sure. I think you will find out. And also, tomorrow you're still here in Munich. That's great, because there's another screening tomorrow here at the HFF and at 8 o'clock. So if you recommend it to friends and families, that would be great.
I'll be there also to exchange at the end.
So a good chance to meet Lou again. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for the question.
And I wish you a good time at the festival. Still 10 days.
Bye.